Everyone, hello. Great to be here. So my name is Mark Corrigan. I'm the commercial director of markC. markC is a media publishing and production company. And as Suzanne said, I'm also the chair of the Video Council. So today I'm going to talk you guys through four key points. The first one is a practical overview and understanding of video advertising and kind of what it is and how it can be used, especially in a retail capacity. Second point then would be my 6 steps for success when it comes to planning a video campaign straight through to the analysis at the end. Then looking at the key performance indicators. So what are the KPIs for video, and a suggested process that we use internally in markC for production. And then lastly, I have some case studies and then just a quick summary of takeaway points. So jumping straight in. Video advertising. What makes video advertising really unique and one of my favorite formats in the overall advertising ecosystem is that it has the unrivaled combination of sight, sound, and motion to help capture attention, drive engagement, build a relationship between you and your target audience. The main thing I really want everyone to take away from this session is that you do not need a Lord of the Rings size budget for video. You do not need to be Steven Spielberg when it comes to production. Video advertising can be extremely cost effective. It can be really lean on the budget as long as it's planned out properly. And we're going to talk about that a little later on. So it can drive really good return on investment, whether it's a call to action campaign or a brand awareness building campaign. So in terms of the kind of the ecosystem of how video advertising is rolled out, it can look a bit complex, but if you kind of boil it down, there's 2 main types. There's linear and non-linear. So linear, for example, would be video advertising that runs before, during, and after content. So think of the RTE player or the Virgin Media player, very similar to how you watch TV with ads running in between shows and during an ad break. The same would go for YouTube when you go to watch some content on YouTube and there's an ad run before it or during or afterwards. So that's linear advertising. Then the second would be non-linear advertising. So this is video advertising that it does not necessarily run before, during, and after content, but it might run in an overlay capacity on a website. So if you're on a sports website, for example, and there's some sports ad content might appear down in a overlay capacity. As advertisers, it's very important that if you are going with non-linear advertising, that you make sure you're running across contextually relevant sites. So if you are a cosmetic retail brand, you want to make sure that you're running mainly across content that's going to appeal to your target audience to make sure that it doesn't annoy readers and that it resonates well with them. So there would be the 2 main types. So looking at the best practice, as I said, there's kind of 6 steps when it comes to video advertising. First one being, it's just the way we consume video. So it's very easy and natural for all of us to think business to consumer. But when it comes to video advertising, we as human beings, we don't watch them as a consumer. We can't help but watch them as a person. So you need to try and think business to person or B2P where possible. And that rolls into the second point. You need to entertain. So no matter what you're selling or what kind of business you're in or what kind of retail business you're in, you can make any video entertaining. Doesn't mean it has to be hilarious or funny or a thriller or gripping. It just needs to be able to engage the user. So you need to ask yourself, would I watch a video like this? It's very easy for us all to kind of get consumed by our own business and assume everyone wants to watch our content. But you have to take a step back and go, would I watch this? If the answer is no, then you need to rethink your approach. If the answer is yes, then you know you're on to a winner. That lends into the third point then, which if it doesn't work on paper, it'll never work on film. So whether you're making a very cost-effective video using a smartphone, or if you've hired a full production crew to make a proper quality TV commercial or video advertising commercial that run online, never turn on the camera until you've done the pre-production. This is the most important part when it comes to video advertising. You have to work through the story. Doesn't matter how big or small it is. Doesn't matter if it's a 12-second ad or a 2-minute long ad that might run on longer content. You need to make sure you've worked through the story. You need to know exactly what story what you're trying to tell. You need to write the script, choose the best locations, who's going to be in front of the camera. Is it going to be the MD of your retail business? Is it going to be an influencer, a brand ambassador, or an actor? Whoever it might be, you need to make sure you nail down all those details. And then video is storytelling. So it has to have, again, it doesn't matter how short it is or how long it is, a beginning, a middle, and an end. It's not just a list of facts. I'm sure we've all seen business ads or business videos where it is just a list of someone rattling out facts. that doesn't resonate with anyone. You need to make sure you tell that story from beginning, middle, and end. Then keep it simple. So whenever you watch a video as a human being, you only ever remember 2 or 3 things. So as a retailer, when you're advertising to your target audience, you need to apply that same principle. So no more than 3 things should go into your video when you're creating it. And by doing that, you will make sure you get your message across. And then also be inspired. There are literally hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of really, really good examples out there of retail video advertising. You might not always be able to match the production value or the budget that these businesses use, but you can just take the same core principles and try and make that applicable to your little story that you're trying to tell. So there would be 6 steps that we would typically use. So now looking at key performance indicators. So what are the KPIs for your video campaign? Typically speaking, there's 4 questions you need to ask yourself. One is what is the overall marketing goal for this campaign? Is it brand awareness? Is it consideration? Or is it action? Or is it a little bit of everything? Once you've identified that, you need to understand what are the key performance indicators for that specific marketing goal. I'm going to show you a graph in the next slide that details what those KPIs are. What are the best video analytics to measure KPIs? So whether you're partnering with a company that runs video advertising on your behalf, or whether you're doing a self-serve video on the likes of YouTube or on Facebook, there's loads of video analytics tools out there. So you need to make sure you have a very top-line understanding of what those analytics are, or that you're partnering with someone who has an in-depth analysis of how to measure video success. And then lastly, how do you optimize for engagement? So if you're a retail business looking to target a very young audience, for example, who are on the go, who don't typically watch the ORT player or the Virgin Media player, you need to make sure that your video is optimized for mobile screens in both portrait and landscape capacity. If you are looking to target maybe a more traditional audience who will be watching the likes of the ORT player, the Virgin Media player, and pre-roll advertising, you need to make sure that you have your big square and rectangle video edits for that as well. So it's optimizing for who you're looking to talk to, or if you know, for example, a lot of your audience might be watching your video content while they're commuting, you need to make sure you have subtitles on it. If they're on the bus or the dart, they don't want to have the sound on. So those small little things you need to take into account, and that'll help you understand how you're going to measure success. So just looking at then the KPIs then for the video campaign. So I mentioned there's 3 main overall goals: awareness, consideration, and action. And then underneath each of those goals, there's more specific KPIs. So if it's a brand awareness piece that you're looking to promote that you have a new store open in a certain area and you just want to get mass amount of views out there, or if it's consideration and you're looking to try and get people to move away slightly from one of your competitors, then you might be looking at a consideration lift. So would Joe Blogs consider using your business more so before or after your video campaign? And action, so more direct response. Are you looking to drive sales? Request a call back, look for clicks through to your website, whatever it might be. It's really, really important that you identify these. And as I said before, when you are partnering with advertiser campaign, people who run campaigns for you, or if you're doing yourself, you need to make sure that if you are partnering with someone, that they understand their way around these 3 goals and this more specific KPIs, and how they can report back to you, and you can report back to your own internal stakeholders going, yes, we were able to see an increase in brand interest, or we saw an overall increase in calls directly from this video campaign. Here's a 7-stage process that we apply in markC. It might look like there's a lot here, but there's actually not, and it really, really helps you boil things down and keep it simple. So starting off, you need to discover what's all the essential information. Are you looking to launch a new product or service as part of your retail business? So you need to understand, what are we looking to communicate here, and what are the goals, challenges, and opportunities for that new initiative that you're undertaking. That then helps you move into point 3, which is define your approach. So who is the target audience? How are we going to communicate with them through video? Is it going to be sound off with subtitles? Is it going to be more social media led, quick, snappy video? Or is it going to be a 30-second video that's going to run on pre-roll on the ORT player, for example? Then you move into stages 4 and 5, where you design, you do all the pre-production, you figure out your locations. Do you need actors? Do you need a production crew? Or can you do it in-house? Do you have someone in-house who's able to go in front of the camera and deliver your message properly? Then stage 5 is producing the asset. Stage 6 is the most exciting part, where you get it out there. And then stage 7 is where you monitor, you're able to report back, and you're able to adapt. And the most important thing with all marketing initiatives is that you learn from every single campaign and know exactly what would you change going forward next time, and how would you shape your approach, what worked well, what might not work as well. So jumping into some case studies here. First case study I'm going to show you guys is Top Oil. So Top Oil partnered with us in Packed House last summer. So the overview here was as we were all coming out of lockdown in summer 2020, Top Oil needed to maximize footfall into their retail stores as Irish people took part in the biggest ever staycation drive in recent times. With Top Oil, they were able to identify two audience cohorts. There was pit stoppers who were traditionally 18 to 44 and families who were 24 to 44. So they used a pull marketing strategy, which I'll go through now in a second, to try and help bring Irish people into their stores. And video was crucial to communicating this message as everyone was gearing up for the big staycations of last summer. So the concept here was, as I said, it was a pull strategy. So it was really competitive time, as you can imagine, and it's going to be the same again this summer. So all petrol station forecourt retailers, they're all trying to attract Irish people to come into their particular stores. There's not too many differentiators unless you're savvy into your price of diesel and petrol and whatnot. Before, generally speaking, a lot of it is just convenience. So the pull strategy that Top Oil applied was win free fuel for a year. So it's a competition based on spending €15 on fuel. You were entered into a draw to win free fuel for a year. And as I said, video was key to this, to help tell a story, keep it human and relatable to both target audiences. So I'm going to show you, this is one of the ads that we used for this. Now, hopefully it's going to play for me. So this is a really good example of video advertising. There's a very clear call to action at the start of the video. Within the first 3 seconds, the watcher was told you could win free fuel for a year. And within the first 5 seconds, they were told to be in with a chance of winning free fuel, just top up by €15 at a Top Oil store. So I'm sure you've all seen video ads on the likes of YouTube where you can skip them after 5 seconds. It's absolutely key that you get your key information in those first couple of seconds. Kept it very simple. There was 2 messages. There's 3 messages. One was win free fuel for a year. The second was how you win it by topping up by €15. And the third point was how we kind of keep it human, and it was rediscover home. So that was it. In terms of distribution, then we used, apologies. We used both linear and non-linear strategies for this. Everything we did and everything that you can do with video advertising with digital is using data, which is great, and it sets digital aside from other types of advertising. So looking at linear, we used YouTube's TrueView. So this is where they're charged after the user watches the full video. So as I mentioned at the start there, we got all the information in the first 3 seconds, 5 seconds. There is an option to skip the video after 5 seconds. So Top Oil, we're not paying unless someone watched the full video. Then the second type, the non-linear, was where we use lots of contextually relevant, mainly Irish publishers. There's some really good publishers. It's very brand safe, the Irish publisher network, particularly if you look at IAB member publishers. So again, using lots of first party data, we're able to go by Dublin and non-Dublin audiences, so that you can see here a screenshot of the independent.ie. This would have ran across some of their content on their site and many other Irish websites. So in terms of distribution, a strategy like this can range anywhere from a couple of grand upwards. So £5 can get you a dent, and then beyond. In terms of production value, these types of ads can be very cost effective, and anything from €1,000 upwards you can deliver a really good effective video. Like everything, the more investment you put in, you should expect more in return. In terms of distribution strategies, the more you spend, you're going to increase your overall reach and awareness. And in terms of production, production depends on what you're trying to get across, but for the likes of this ad, we were able to get all the message across. Really successful campaign, and it was done on a fairly modest budget. In terms of success for this, then there was 2 main goals. One was awareness, so just getting mass amount of views out there. That's where the likes of the linear and non-linear came into effect. And then there was also a kind of call to action goal that we had as well, and that was an overall increase in sales. So by having pixels on the Top Oil website, when a viewer of the ad was able to click through, we could identify who that person was using all GDPR safe targeting, and then we're able to give direct correlation back from overall sales. So then the second case I'm going to show you guys is another campaign that markC ran. markC, we own and operate Beauty.ie, and some of you guys may have heard of it before. It's a female-led beauty and lifestyle website, and we ran a campaign with Boots. So not to get Boots and Beaut confused, but Boots Ireland came to us with a brief. Their objective was to increase consideration and sales across their makeup range to all category buyers in Ireland on their Beauty.ie e-commerce platform. So the concept had to be authentic. It had to showcase real people using the Boots products for real life special occasions. We brought in some makeup artists to be able to show how experts and professionals use Boots products to create really nice looks. There was a hashtag of #NoReally, which was just designed very kind of artisan, kind of to go, oh no, really, you can buy all this really good stuff in Boots or on Boots.ie. So in terms of videos.
My name is Edel Morgan. I'm here today because I'm celebrating my 30th wedding anniversary.
So Edel, I'm going to go in with the first step, which in my opinion is the most important. It's looking after your skin and the skin.
So I'm not going to show all of this video, but this first video, essentially what we did was we identified lots of different category buyers. So we had one hero video that was about 5 minutes long that lived on Beaut.ie and went out on Beaut.ie's social platforms. But then we also took out lots of kind of smaller edits for a specific demographic. So in this case, it was this lady was celebrating her wedding anniversary. So it was targeting more for a certain demographic. And you can see here, this was a Twitter Square video. So taken from the overall hero video, we would have made multiple different cuts. And then I'm going to show you this second version. This was for a new mum, and this was used for Instagram TV. And this is done in the portrait landscape, or sorry, the portrait format. Oh, sorry, apologies now.
My name is Nikita. I'm here today because I'm a new mum.
It's called Better Than Sex by Too Faced. So you ready to see the final look? So what do you think?
Wow, I love it.
But also everything is available on Boots.ie.
That's brilliant. That's a bit
Amazing.
Yeah,
Shop
really
from
nice.
your couch.
Yeah.
So you can see there was a clear call to action that was available on Boots.ie. It wasn't product specific. It was just very much check out the whole range on Boots.ie. As I said, the objective here was an overall increase in sales and consideration. Kept it very simple. So it was very human. It told a story. There was the expert touch from the makeup artists and the real life people who were taking part, who Boots.ie would have recruited. The hashtag #NoReally the hashtag #NoReally kind of helped bring again that human touch. And as I said, we had one longer hero piece that lived on Boots.ie, but the pre-production was absolutely key here. Would have been the most important part of this whole process, and that allowed us very straightforward, in a very straightforward manner, to take multiple different cuts from this hero video and distribute. So as I said, we did have that hero piece. And we had a social strategy using all the various different data that's available on social media platforms. We're able to target the various different audience cohorts. So there was the lady celebrating her wedding anniversary. There was the new mum you saw there. There was a girl starting a new job. There was a girl getting ready for Debs, and there was another girl going for Halloween. So lots of different cohorts we're able to tap into there. So the contextual relevance of Beaut.ie and the social nature of this campaign helped this kind of just take off a little bit. So there was an overachievement of 20% on the key performance indicators for this video views. In terms of the distribution, partnering with the likes of Beaut.ie, it can help with both production and distribution. A lot of publishers will be able to do both for you. So in this case, it was a lot more cost effective to Boots to be able to go to one partner, and they were able to carry out the distribution. So guys, just going to finish up now. I'm probably just going over my time here. So just in terms of key takeout points, keep it simple. There should only ever be 2 to 3 specific messages you want to communicate, and you stick to that. Understand where and when your video will be consumed and tailored appropriately. And just remember, video advertising will not break the bank. Keep it human. The nature of video and how we consume it demands a human connection, and try and think business to person. Every business has a product to tell and an interesting story to tell. You just need to plan it out and just find that story and go with it. You need to understand your goal. So for lead generation, ensure there is a clear call to action. So go to this website or call this number for a callback, whatever it might be. Make sure you specifically mention your call to action. For brand awareness, you need to make sure you make a connection that people are going to remember you. and be set up for success. So use analytics, use tracking pixels, use partners who can help you in that capacity if you can't do yourself. And probably most importantly is do the pre-production. So it can appear complex to do lots of pre-production, but it's not at all once you get stuck into it. And it will help you make sure you deliver on your goal and you don't end up blowing budgets where you didn't think you had to if you planned it properly. So guys, that's it for me. Thanks very much. I'm going to hand you back over to Suzanne now, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the session.